as you bear witness to the Temple of Speed, all those with the petrol and 1,000 horsepower machines belting it around this magnificent circuit here at Monza. Welcome along to PGS Tier 1, 5th race of the Season 4 campaign, I believe. We are here in Italy, in Monza, one of the best known tracks in the world, some would argue, otherwise known of course as the Temple of Speed. My name is Casper, glad to have you all along with us. We're on board with Zettini heading through the first of the two Lesnos into the second one, slightly tighter. We can still carry a lot of pace through there. Then it's down this back stretch under what was the old banking, because of course this used to have an oval within itself as well. Into Ascari, the quick flick left, right and then left onto the other back straight. And then it is into the Curva Alboreto. Of course, most people will know it as the Parabolica, and I still do. But here he comes across the line. One of the championship contenders for the season, puts in a benchmark of a 1:19.1. That's a pretty decent lap time. As we look on, let's have a look at Maligno. He goes into third place, 20.1. Good start there for the Alfa Romeo. Silence coming up to the line, just about to start a lap. Meanwhile, here comes the Mercedes of Marchi up to Parabolica around the final corner. Could he push himself up towards the top three in this these first couple of laps? No, not quite. 20.6, just over a second and a half off of pole position. Here's the current championship leader, I do believe, Araujo up to the line. What time can he put in? It's the first 1:18 of the session. It's a 1:18.795, so it is Ferrari 1-2, as we've seen many a time, but that's immediately bettered by Giggsy, putting in a 1:19.1. Still the one lap in the 1:18s, as we see Sousa having an invalid lap time. That's one of the Williams cars. The other Williams car is silent, currently not set a lap time. Bailey goes to 5th place, 1:19.6. He goes into Ascari. Nice run through that first section. Take a little more curb if he wanted to, but decided against it. Up towards the Curva Alboreto. Let's go on board with the Williams. Nice line through there, runs it wide, not using the whole thing. So again, there is a little bit of pace on the table for the Williams, but it is the second lap of the 1:18, so 1:18.898. So someone challenging the time of Araujo, getting very, very close indeed. As it is Araujo, Silent Giggs and Zettini, your top four at this moment in time. Let's have a look to see what else is happening further down. Got a couple of outlaps at the moment. We've got 18 drivers at the moment. But of course, there is space for 20. As we're currently on board with Chris Thorpe in one of the two Alpines, the other Alpine being Vitor Gois, promoted from Tier 1 just earlier today, ahead of this race. He's hoping to make a great impression. He did do very well towards the back end of last season and the start of this season in Tier 2, so he's going to be hoping to do the same thing here. Let's go on board for a lap, actually, with Chris Thorpe in the Alpine. Of course, this circuit has some of the highest top speeds that you'll see. Yeah, we break 220 for just a brief moment as we go into the first chicane. Careful there on throttle, manages to hold it quite nicely. And then it is through the long right-hander of Curva Grande, turn 3. Nice little help through there, keep on the right-hand side of the track before you brake for the Della Roggia chicane. Quick 4 and 5. Nicely handled there. Into 6 along right there. Nice. Into turn 7, drops down to 5th gear, rides a little bit of curb, but there's a space to carry a lot more curbing through the kink then down under the banking, shielded by the trees, of course, into Ascari 8, 9 and 10. Really fast chicane. You don't want to ride the curbs on the right hand side, you don't want to ride the curbs on that side either, as that's just going to invalidate your lap, just as happened to Chris Thorpe there. It's an unfortunate end to the lap. Meanwhile, we're on board with Lucky. Does he go for another lap? He could be doing that. He's just under half a second up, down even. He's not using his energy as such. Could he just be recovering energy and hoping to go again? We'll see that in a couple of moments' time. Meanwhile, Chris Thorpe's out on another lap. Kuto's gone to 9th place, on board with Little Mo in the Alpha Tauri. Remember, this is just one qualifying session, and then it is half-distance race. Ooh, careful there. Mind your teammate. Almost crashed into the back of Lucky there. Let's see what else is cracking further up and down the field. Rocket Man doesn't actually go as high as Space. He only goes into 12th place, but still not a bad result for a Haskar. Of course, this is equal performance, so theoretically they should all be equal. However, a couple of crises earlier in this game's life cycle have led that not quite to be the case, especially in some of the earlier races. Some cars had more tyre wear than others. Neffel has started another lap. There's quite a few DOTS guys. Molinho, Neffel, Sousa, now Vitor has come in as well. So there is quite a few guys from there. Chris Thorpe puts in a 120.158, so 2 thousandths down on Molinho ahead of him. Let's see what else is happening. It's Kuto going again. He's just put himself further up the grid into 6th place, but I don't think he's either got the energy or the fuel to manage it. In fact, he's a second down after the first sector, so I don't think that's going to be the case. Molinho 2/10 down, up even on his own time, riding the curb nicely on the exit of Ascari chicane. Then it is pedal to the metal down until Curva Alboreto. Mo goes 7th place, 1,000 down on Kuta. You can see how close the gaps are here at PGS. We're on board with Molinho, goes from 10th to 9th, 4.5 tenths up on his personal best. Let's see what's cracking further down. Neffel is also coming up to the line, goes from 12th to 12th, improves his time but not by enough for a position. Goes from 120.6 to 120.2. Let's see, that's Kuto going into the pits. So is that Chris Thorpe also going into the pit lane? Yes, it is. Let's see what Sousa can do. The only person out on track to have not completed a lap time. Silent has just started one. Actually, in fact, Araujo is down after 2 sectors. So we'll see if he comes in. I don't think he's coming in. No, so he's going to assume that lap as incomplete. Here comes Giggs. He's 6/10 down after 2 sectors, and he's coming to the pit lane, so not a very good lap for that McLaren. Araujo does the same thing as Marquis is going again. I thought he had low fuel. Okay, I'm not going to question it. There's a reason I don't drive, let's put it that way. Luke Bailey coming up to the line, 120.6 to beat. It's 120.497, so puts himself up a couple of spots to 7th place. Good run there for Luke. Molinho into the pit lane. Here comes FRR Harry. Around the curve of Parabolica, he's also coming into the pit lane now. Not a great lap there for that. Haas. Sousa goes into 12th place. Actually, I think, is that Silent coming up to the line now? Yes, it is. Marginally up after 2 sectors. So this final sector is crucial, but he's down. He's not going to improve. So it goes right back into the pit lane. As Kuto's coming out for another run, possibly his last run, with 5 minutes 40 seconds left on the clock. here at PGS. Arajo, Silent, Giggs, Zettany, Marquis, Tize Caveiro, your top 6. There's Luke Bailey and this man, AXV Kuto. Yellows in the third sector. That does look to be just be Marquis for traffic. Souza comes around the curve of Alboreto, and he's coming into the pit lane. That is Lucky out on a lap time. Will drop down to... Actually, drop down to Rocket Man, because Rocket Man's just about to start. He's hopefully going to soar as high as well, as high as he can. The astronaut that he is. He's just started a lap, so let's actually turn off the telemetry, which I've only just noticed that I have. Jay Pinto, I believe, is on a quali ban, so that's why he's not qualifying today. Rocket Man makes a mess of the first chicane, and that is, for anybody taking reference, that's not how you take that first chicane there. Lucky on a lap as well. Kuto's not very far behind. There's another car that's come out. That is Little Mo, as well as Chris Thorpe. That's 9th and 13th, respectively. They're coming out for a final run already with 4 minutes left on the clock. A little wide there through Lesmo 1 into the second one. Is a little bit better, but again, a bit more time on the table. Can carry a bit more speed, use a bit more curb. Remember, you do have to keep at least one part of the tyre on the grey stuff, and that's not how you take Ascari, despite being 1.2 seconds up after 2 sectors. 3 minutes 40 left on the clock, and we've got a pretty tense qualifying session. Top 10 within, well, top 11 within an entire second. The whole field split by math serves me right, I think it's just over 3 seconds, but again, some of these guys are certainly going to be putting in some better lap times. Here comes AXV Kuto. Is he going to go in? Yes, he is. Not quite an optimal time for the Red Bull. Meanwhile, we've got another man on track. That's Little Mo. He's just starting what is quite possibly his final lap. I don't think he can finish a lap, pull in, put new ones on, put a new set of tyres on, and get out on time. So this is probably his final run. We've got more cars coming out on track as well. That is one of the McLarens. I'm going to hazard a guess and say it's Luke. Hold on, know me, I'm probably wrong. Oh, it is. What a surprise. It's not normal that I'm right in my guesses. Mo through Lesmo 1, taking that very nicely into the second. A little bit of curb on the right side, a lot of curb on the left side. Taking that pretty well through the kink, and then it is under the banking, under the trees here in Italy. Breaking in for Ascari, taking that nicely. That's how you take Ascari, don't take too much. Again, a little bit more curb could take through the exit, but of course you don't have to. It is, of course, driver preference. Into Alboreto, and Mo's hoping to put in a very good time. He's a second off pole position, and he's going to put himself up into 6th place, 19.308, almost exactly a quarter of a second up on his own best. But is he going to have enough time to put in another lap? Could possibly go around and go again, but that's going to be quite tight. Through the Della Roggia chicane goes Tize Caveiro, as Giggs gets a 5-place grid drop for illegal blocking. Hello, Giggs is in 3rd place now. That's certainly going to affect his race pace. Because while we know Monza, yes, is very good at showing how speedy these cars are, in terms of passing opportunities, it's not the best track for it. Let's put it that way. There is still opportunity, but it's not as good as, say, Sepang, which is actually, I've heard rumoured to be coming back for 2026 or 27, roughly. Tize Caveiro coming through curve at Alboreto, taking a tighter line because he's coming into the pit lane. Not a time that he's quite proud enough of on board with this man. Giggs, who's going to get a 5-spot grid drop. So the best he can start at the moment is 6th place. And he's certainly going to hope that he can start in that 6th position despite those penalties. Araujo coming around. I think he's the only person to have not started. Yes, and as little Motize, Cavero and Couto just sit in the pit lane, they're going to be waiting and hoping for the best. 2 seconds left on the clock. First person to cross the line is Luke Bailey. And he's coming around Curva Alboreto now. Where's he going to come out? He goes into 5th place, so he's going to get promoted to 4th post penalties. Let's look at Rocket Man. Well, not. Who's now coming up to the line? Is that Sousa? Yes, it's Sousa. He's actually going to cross the line this time, but stays in 12th place, 2/10 up on his personal best. Marquis' time is invalid. Giggs stays in 3rd. So here comes Zettany. He's 4/10 down on his personal best. That's not ideal. He needs to make something out of the final sector. It's not difficult to make it back, but whoa, that's just intense saying, yeah, I don't want this lap. So he's going to stay in 4th. But can Araujo improve his time? No, he can't. Lap's invalid. So that's it for qualifying in terms of top positions. As Mourinho comes into the pit lane as well. So that is properly it. Araujo on pole position for at least the 2nd week in a row. Ahead of Silent and Giggs, who's going to get a 5-place grid drop. So in terms of a 2nd row, it is going to be Ferrari McLaren, because Luke Bailey's going to get promoted. Marquis in 6th. Little Mo in 7th. They're going to be pushed up a spot as well, as is FFR Harry. He's going to go up to 7th because Giggs is going to slide himself nicely in his position. Just going to wait for the clock to run out so that we can actually... there we go. 15th place for Chris Vorp. Is he going to pass the McLaren? Is he? Oof, just misses out on that. Qualifying result on your screen. So 1, 2, 3 for Portugal. If we're going by the flags, there's a little bit of a worldwide mix up here in the middle, and then there's a load XV and DOTS between 9th and 14th place, with a bit of a Norwegian gap before we get further into the Portuguese run. Qualifying is done. Racing will begin in about 5 minutes' time. Top 13 is within an entire second. This is going to be tight. Stay with us. Awesome. Look, he's left the session. That's not great. Mudded qualifying session from Marquis effing Ascari. I'm not going to say what he actually said, just in case. There are people who don't like swearing that are listening to this. Effing Ascari says Araujo Fantastic also having a problem through back in tier 2 with qualifying. Are we restarting? I think we are. So, in that case, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pause the stream for a brief moment. And then we'll come back when we get back into game. Because apparently the lobby is possibly glitched. So just going to take precautions to make sure that doesn't happen. And then will be underway. So we'll see you all in a couple of moments' time. Welcome back, everyone. Apologies for all of that delay. We had a little bit of a glitched lobby, and we, pardon me, are now back. Possibly. Or has something happened again? That's not meant to happen. For context, it was Araujo on pole position and Silent behind him. So I think what we might have to do is, you know what? I'm not even going to pause it this time. I'm just going to keep on, and we'll see what happens. We're going to have to, I think, re-lobby and redo that because qualifying and grid positions were already sorted. It was Araujo, who is championship leader, currently on pole position, with Silent in second place. That is bright. I forgot how bright that is. We'll just sit in this menu for a little bit. Where is the championship standings? Championship standings are here. Right. I'll run you through the championship standings then. It is Araujo 68 to 66 against his teammate Zetany, who is starting in 4th place today. That is a little bit of a drop from last week, where in China he started in 2nd place. Prodigy in 3rd, not here tonight, on 40 points, so it does look to be a Ferrari title battle, which I know some people would be happy about in real life, but at the moment not quite the case. Marky in 4th, Luke in 5th place. I think he's actually starting about 5th. No, he's starting 4th on the grid because of Giggs' penalty. Lucky in 6th place. He's a little further down, I think, about 12th place. Verdadi not racing today, but mainly because he is a reserve. But he did, of course, pick up a win at France 2 weeks ago and got a fastest lap in China. His fastest reserve, Sousa in 8th place, Giggs in 9th, Silent in 10th, Molino in 11th, Jaconca in 12th, Kuto in 13th, Mo in 14th, the resident American. Neffel in 15th, J Pinto in 16th. He's going to be starting at the very, very back of the grid. Sub-Zero in 17th, Tizo Cuvero in 18th, David Vintre in 19th, and Rocketman in 20th position. In terms of championship standings, in terms of team standings as well, Ferrari, with that inter-team battle, do seem to be running away with it. It's 134 against Mercedes' 62. But from there it does get quite tasty. 2nd, 3rd and 4th and 5th actually are pretty close. 62 for Mercedes, 54 for McLaren, 47 for Red Bull, and 40 for AlphaTauri. Sorry. Red Bull, Cash App, or whatever. As we do get an invite. Is it working? Is it working? Is it working? Is it? Possibly. Wahey! Awesome. Right. As everybody else is loading in, from there, it's Alfa Romeo on 28th, Mercedes on 27th, so the battle for 6th place is hotting up quite nicely as well. One Haas tonight, at the moment at least anyway, in 8th place on 19 points. Aston's, I think there's only one Aston tonight as well, on a singular point, and then Alpine in 10th with absolutely sod all. Right. Let's see what else is cracking and what people are saying. My. There we go. Flag underscore PL. If anybody's got any questions about anything as well, feel free to send them in. I have got chat open, so if you've got any questions or would like to mention something or anything like that, please do let me know. I'll happily talk. Yes, yes. Love that. I mean, I'm just thinking in general terms because F1 has been pretty packed with news. You, of course, had the big news that everybody's heard of, and I don't think anybody's missed it. And the Haas have announced their 2024 livery, which doesn't actually look much different to the 2023 livery at all. No, I'm joking, of course. Lewis Hamilton for Ferrari is pretty major news. And I was reading on Twitter or something like that, and or Twitter or X or whatever you want to call it nowadays, and I saw someone say 2026 with the new engine regs, he's going to make Hamilton's going to make the most of them with Ferrari, who some leaked reports are saying that Ferrari are looking pretty likely to have a very, very good engine. 2025 to gel with the team to figure everything out, and 2024 is for Lewis to try and say, hey, come to Ferrari, etc., etc. So, that could be quite interesting if he wins 26 and beyond. I have near to no doubt that he will be regarded greatest driver ever. Because it's not very... Has it happened that a driver's won in 3 separate decades? To be fair, Lewis already has. But I'm sort of counting 2020 as part of the 2010s as such. But more than 7 championships, there we go. That's how I'm going to phrase it. For anybody who's wondering, why are we still in the lobby? Why are we not racing? Little bit of a glitched lobby post-qualifying has led to us re-lobbying once and then re-lobbying once again when the game decided, yeah, we're going to sort the grid for you. I know you put in your qualifying standings and all that, but we're not going to listen to that at all. We're just going to randomly do it. Because why not? So that's why we're, in this position. Unfortunately. And very, very irritatingly. It's all meant to be done now, hopefully, so we should be getting full team ready-ups in a couple of moments' time. Although all things considered, it might be that we might have to re-lobby again, and that's just going to be funny if it happens. I of course hope it doesn't, but should it happen, it's going to be pretty funny. So what's going to happen now is the lobby's going to set. There we go. As is seen before thine eyes. And then we're going to give the drivers just a couple of minutes to get themselves ready, sort it all out, sort everything out before they go for 27 laps around the Temple of Speed here in Monza in Italy. Some people would say God's country. I would... I don't know if I'd be one of the people to say that. But it is still a very, very beautiful country regardless. There we go. And if this happens to be your first time watching PGS, it isn't normally like this. There isn't normally this many problems, this many issues, and whatnot. We've got... How many have we got? We've got 6 people. Hello, 6 people. As we can just see, the weather is pretty nice as well. So that is going to be very, very good. At least it certifies that the race is going to be dry as a bone. At least for now, for the first stage anyway. Safety cars, likely. Reason I say that, yes, you've got lots of space. Yes, this, that, the other. One of the other leagues I help out, aside from PGS, is a league called ERC. And they had a 50% race around here about a month and a half ago. And within 10 laps, they had 4 safety cars. So, you know, there is a lot of, I don't want to say overtaking opportunities, but there is a lot of opportunity for things to go wrong, let's put it that way. Especially, lap 1, turn 1. It is a very, very long run down towards the first corner, and should a driver, I don't know, maybe get it wrong, that could very easily land them on top of the rear wing of another car because of how hard you're braking in towards turn 1. One of the hardest braking corners, first corners possibly in the calendar. Because you've got... I was going to say Sochi, but even then that wasn't that slow. I'm trying to think what else it could be. Bahrain maybe as well? I'm not counting Sepang because it's not on the calendar. Yeah, I think it is probably going to be like one of the more difficult turn 1s. Here we go, 5 lights on ahead of the drivers. Grid looks to be sorted out, and it's lights out and away we go. It looks to be a very good start for Silent. He's going to be hoping to get alongside and ahead going into turn 1. There's a couple of tussles further back. That's Giggs forcing Zettini further to the right-hand side. There's cars off track there. Ooh, that is an Alfa Romeo going deep into the first chicane. That was, I think, Molinho going very, very deep into there as they go through Curva Grande for the first time. The battle here for 8th place. Little Mo and Eggs and Ikuto going into the Della Roggia. Mo keeps the position into 4 and 5. So overall, first lap wasn't as chaotic as it usually is around this magnificent circuit. But there's still quite a lot happened through that section, that movement. That is Chris Thorpe, who's crashed out just on the exit of the Lesmos, and that is safety car number 1 in this event. Lap 1 of 27. We managed to make it past the Lesmos, guys. Well done, everyone. We managed. That's not a common occurrence in Monza. We usually have safety cars right after turn 1. Just seen chat, Tozy saying let's go, let's go. Glad to see you all in the chat. My monitor's about 3 meters away, but I'll keep an eye out if anybody's saying anything, if you've got anything you want mentioning. Mo's come into the pit lane. Is that possible contact damage into the first chicane. We'll stay on board, see what happens. No, it's just a standard change of tyres onto the medium compound. We'll actually have a look at tyres while we're down. Mostly mediums and soft. A couple of hard runners with Lucky and Neffel, who's just come into the pit lane. The soft medium compound is pretty favourable around here, at least in a 50% environment. Should we have been in 100% to push towards like a medium hard or even a two-stop. But soft medium is pretty favourable. Although, hards aren't a bad strategy either. You do get a lot of safety cars, so using the hard tyre shouldn't be too bad of an idea. Lap 2 of 27. We are under safety car for the first time in this race. Not because of turn 1, because of Chris Thorpe just running deep into the Lesmos, just on your left there, and having a crash is possibly just the best way to put that. Looking on with Silent, almost managed to grab the lead on the, I want to say, inside of turn 1, but Araujo managed to go around the outside and keep the defensive position. He'll keep the lead, but how long will he keep it for? Just in Chris Thorpe put in the chat, well, that lasted long. Well, not the ideal start of your race, but it could have gone much, much worse. Down the front straight they go. Third lap of the race so far, 27 total, so we've got 25 to go tonight. And then next week is going to be a sprint race. We are going to be at, or we're going to be at Baku. That's going to be very, very interesting. Baku, of course, being Baku, could deliver absolutely anything. And it's usually quite a good spot for overtaking as well. There's some technical bits. There's, I would argue, one of the most complete straight tracks you could possibly get. Because there's a lot of speedy sections, a lot of twisty sections. It's actually a pretty cool track. Initially wasn't massively well received, but has since then created chaos and carnage at the majority of races that have been done there. But let's not worry about the future, and let's look at what we've got here. Let's actually look also at positions. Molinho overall up 3 as safety car comes in this lap. Sousa's also up 4. Vitor Gois in 13th place, promoted from Tier 2 earlier this afternoon. He's in 13th place, so good start for the Alpine. As safety car is coming into the field, it's going to be bunched up quite nicely. Mo down 6 and Neffel down... Mo down 9, Neffel down 6 on board with Silent. When is Silent going to go? When is Araujo going to go? Safety car is in, so he could go at any point now, and he's gone now. Not really caught Silent out there. But he's not caught Zettini out either, as the top guys have swapped position. So it is Araujo, Silent, Zettini and Giggsy, but here comes Giggs. He's going to try and get close, but he's a little too far away from move down into turn 1. Silent isn't, though, on board. He's going for the lead. To the left, almost contact there. Careful for the Ferrari behind him. Good exit there, so he could be able to defend from Zettini. TZ Caveira's made up a couple of positions. In fact, there's a battle here. TZ Caveira, no, he hasn't. He's dropped a couple of positions, used the runoff off the chicane, and he's going to drop towards the very back of the field. Let's go back to the top. As we see, the inside of Lesmo 1 is a difficult move on any good day, but it's a very, very well executed move by Markey, almost forced into a spin by Giggs, and here he goes. He's going to retaliate down into Ascari, but I think the battery's just being used effectively enough by the Mercedes to to defend very well. So Giggs is starting to drop back in the early stages of this event. Haas running wide, that's FFR Harry. It's an opportunity for Luke Bailey to get closer up towards Curva Alboreto, but not quite able to do so. Back to the front, on board with Silent, less than 2/10 away from the Ferrari ahead of him. He's starting to claw away from the pack top three. Silent fastest, 22.411, and here he goes. He's going to go to the right hand side, doesn't even need DRS to make the move. Down the inside, can he retain first place? Can Araujo keep it? Yes, he can. He's making it work inside of turn 2. Not quite able to defend well enough, so Araujo on the back foot at the moment. He dropped back to second. Silent is in the lead, and in fact he's at risk of losing a position to his teammate as well, with Zettini right on his tail. Sliding there for the Ferrari, but no move into the Della Roggia, and they've closed right back up on Marky Giggs and the rest of the chasing pack. They're all very close on the second lap of this safety car restart. Less than a second between each person in the top 14. Look on board with Giggs, dropped the most positions from the top, I'd say top couple, as Mo and Pinto have swapped. Mo using the benefit of new tyres. Giggsy going to the right hand side. He's going to make the move, done well before Curva Alboreto. Doesn't even need the braking zone. He's done that very nicely. He's charging back up to the front of the field, where I assume he thinks he belongs, especially with the qualifying performance. He was meant to have a 5th-place grid drop for quote illegal blocking. However, that's not been given with the restart. Luke Bailey to the right hand side of FFR Harry. He's going to make the move for 6th place. However, we've got something a bit more pressing. Battle for the lead. Silent defending on the inside. Araujo attacking on the outside of turn 2. Using the grass, using the nature to make the Ferrari work, and on Italian soil it works better than ever. Silent's going to attack down the outside of Della Roggia, but Araujo defends perfectly, puts the car exactly where it needs it to be, and defends sublimely, unlike Liverpool earlier today, which is sad for me because I'm a Liverpool fan. Looking on with Giggs in 4th place. Through turn 7, I was going to say 6, and there's a move for the lead once again. Araujo and Silent swapping places. Zettini lifting off to not pass his teammate, and through Ascari wiggle there for Silent. Silent's going to defend the inside line, but can Araujo force himself up? No, he's going to lift off so he can keep DRS coming up towards Curva Alboreto through turn 11 on this relatively little turns of Monza. However, who says you need a lot of turns in a circuit? Top 6 have split off a little bit from the rest of the pack. Here comes Araujo. Can Zettini? No, said Zettini. No, I can't. As FFR Harry, who's actually dropped back quite a few positions now, is in 10th place. He's got ahead of XV Lucky. And here comes Araujo. No, not into 4th. Still a little too far away. Luke Bailey seems to be hanging on the coattails, but to be honest, just about. Not very much in it there. Through turn 6 into 7. The 2 Lesmos, of course. And then it is up to Ascari for the 7th time in this race. Only the 4th under full green conditions, because we did have 2.5 laps under safety car due to an incident for Chris Vorp, which basically meant running deep into the 2nd Lesmo and crashing out of this race, which is the only incident we've had around Monza, which considering turn 1 exists, is not a common occurrence. Lap 8 of 27 on board with Zettini. He's closing up to his teammate, but his teammate's closing up to the lead. Where's he going to go? Left, right? Zettini's going to try and make a move for it as well. Not quite. Stays in 3rd place, decides better of it. Now we're on board with Araujo. Top 4 are split by a hair. Could probably throw a pizza and nothing more in between these guys. On board with Zettini. He's going to go up the inside of Curva Grande. And as these teammates are fighting, that's just going to give Silent an opportunity. But again, Zetany lifts off, plays the second man, and stays in third place. Back end wiggle there for Zetany. Careful for Giggs. Giggs has made his way through. I thought he was going to get past both. But no space there. On with Luke Bailey, battle for 5th place. He's very close to the back of Markey, who's honestly very close still to the back of that top 4 fight with both Ferraris, a Williams and a McLaren, which is a massively historic battle. Of course, all 3 of those teams steeped in tons of history. Ferrari, of course, being in since the 50s. Williams and McLaren also having their own histories. Giggs has had a monster exit out of here, and here we go. Could we see 3 wide down the front stretch? Yes, we can. Araujo ahead of Giggs, ahead of Silent. Yellow's round curve for Alboreto as Araujo's got ahead into turn 1. Giggs stays in 2nd place. Silent's dropped to 3rd. He's going to try and get through past Giggs on exit of the first chicane, and that's exactly what happened. Giggs is losing positions with a poor exit of the first chicane, and then what does Zetany do? He's going to try around the outside. Can that work? No, he can't. Giggs pushes him to the very outside of the track there, and that is very nicely done by Araujo from 3rd to 1st. Goodness me, what a battle there. Ow. Ow, that hurt. Lap 9 of 27. We're not even, well, we're just about to hit a third of the way through this race. Top 6 split by what? Less than 2 seconds? Just over 2 seconds even. Araujo, Silent, Giggs, Zetany, Markey, and Luke Bailey all in the battle for the win. On board with Markey, who's on back of Zetany, who's actually lost quite a lot of ground on the top 3. We could be seeing a top 3 car split, with 3 cars battling for the lead and 3 for 4th place honours. Yellow's in the 3rd sector. That's Lucky going off into the Parabolica. Fortunate situation there for him. Let's look at what happens down the front. Ooh, Markey goes deep on board with Luke Bailey. Can he capitalise? Yes, he can. A great switchback. And he's going to be alongside as they head out of Curva Grande. And that's Sousa going off track. You might have seen for just a brief moment into that first chicane. And that is a stellar move made by Luke. Let's actually look a little further back on board with Molinho. Can he get back on Sousa? No, not able to do so, so he stays in that 9th position, but he goes deep, and then FFR Harry thought he was going to be able to capitalise, but he made a mistake of his own into De La Roggia. So it is Couto, Sousa, Molinho, and Harry 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th position points for those guys. Remember, we do use the standard F1 point system, so it is 25 all the way down to 1 for 10th place, and no more. Here goes FFR Harry, using DRS to get back at Molinho into Ascari. Brilliant move there done by the Haas. Now he's going to try and close up, but no, he can't. He goes well off track, but conveniently enough for him, he's going to stay ahead of Molinho. Mo's made a move on Pinto. Pinto's going to try and hang around the outside, but Mo forces him right off track. Markey's gone into the pit lane. That's Tiza Conveyor off track. Let's jump back to the front of the field. That is Silent ahead of Araujo, ahead of Giggs. You're 1, 2, 3. Bailey is 1.8 seconds off, so he's not going to have DRS, and crucially, he's not going to have the obviously DRS advantage that you do get. Of course, DRS not quite as effective here as in other places. However, still an advantage that any driver would love and kill to have. Into the first Lesmos. Yellow's in the first sector. That does look to be for Molinho, but no major problems there on exit. On board with Araujo. Again, he's going to try and go for the lead. You see move made into Ascari just a lap ago, but does he go for it? He looks to have lifted off just so that he can keep it. Yeah, I think for these guys, the main overtaking spot is going to be turn 1, because that is the biggest DRS zone on this circuit. You get so much speed out of Curva Alboreto. Yeah, you we go. That's how close these guys are. Less than half a second splits the top three. Now here we go. The 11th run down the front stretch, not including the start of course on board with Giggs. He's going to go to the left side. Silent defends on the right, but Araujo gets past him. Giggs gets himself in this as well. Not close enough for a move under braking. So is Araujo, Silent, Giggs. Araujo back in the lead, championship leader, of course. And he's going to open up a massive championship advantage should things finish like this. Araujo in first, Zettini in fifth. That's 15 points difference. And here we go, Silent on the back of Araujo, still back end sliding into the Della Roggia. I think that was a little bit of carbon flying there. And he's dropped back to half a second behind Araujo, but a good run through the Lesmos. He's going to close things up a little bit. Well, possibly. From what I could see, Araujo didn't have a great run through the first Lesmo, but he managed to correct it on exit. Giggsy on the back of Silent. He's going to try and get close as he can. But again, he's just a little bit off that battle for the lead, which is probably not where he wants to be, but a third place would not be a bad result for the McLaren. Does Silent go for it again? No, he doesn't with that Williams screen placement. It's the only car that has the screen built into the body instead of the steering wheel. Let's look on board with Giggsy. Luke Bailey into the pit lane, try and do the undercut. Let's actually see if that works. We'll jump back with him in a sec. Giggsy is here. Silent back in the lead as the top positions swap again. Zettini back in fourth place. Let's see if the undercut works for Luke Bailey. Harry's got a 3-second time penalty, as does Little Mo. We saw earlier 4 track limits penalties. Where's Luke coming out? He's coming out right behind Markey, so it's not the greatest position to be in. However, he's still managed to keep very close to you know, the person he was fighting with. That's the words I'm looking for. Titi Cavero and Rocketman are also in pits, so they're going to be pitting for a fresh set of tyres. Let's see what people are pitting onto. Most people are pitting onto hard tyres. There's a couple on mediums. Rocketman on the medium tyre as well. FFR Harry's also pitted onto the medium tyre. Let's look also at positions. Jay Pinto up 11, Sousa up 9. I know a lot of cars have pitted, but blind me, a good run for both of those guys. We'll go back on board with Araujo. He's going to make a move back for the lead. They're 2 abreast, heading down the front stretch. Ferrari fans, I'm sure, at Monza going absolutely crazy. Is their man Araujo, who again is championship leader, is back in the lead of this race. And again, Zettini's come into the pit lane. We'll see if the undercuts worked for himself as well, but don't think it has. No, it hasn't, and he's got another car behind ahead of him, Vitor Gois. He's going to try and sandwich himself into this battle. That Alpine does still need to pit anyway, but he does pit, does he? Yes, he still does need to pit. Okay, I thought I was going crazy. He still does need to pit, but he's still going to try and make as much chaos as he possibly can. Let's go back to the lead, shall we? Because it's a cracking battle we're having at the lead here. Positions changing between first and second, and Giggs is always just slightly off that battle. I don't know if that's a strategy of his so that he can not get involved, avoid contact until Araujo and Silent do. However, as we saw in China, even with a very good and hard-fought battle, Araujo can come out unscathed. Silent and Giggs both in the pit lane. As they're coming off their tyres, started on mediums. Are they going to come in for the hards or for the softs now is the major question. Giggs in off the mediums onto a set of hards. Silent does exactly the same, so not quite good enough for the soft tyres, not quite close enough. Can't even get on board as Markey's made his move as well. So Markey, crucially, Markey has got ahead of both Silent and Giggs. and they're going to have warm tyres as well. Luke Bailey is right in this as well. So the battle that was raging between the top 6 about 5 or so laps ago before the pit stops is still going on, but with Markey a considerable step ahead of the others. And Zetany is now back in this as well. Vitor Guiz has come into the pit lane at the moment in last place. And I don't think he's just come out the pit lane now, so he's going to be coming out in the final position, looking on with Giggsy. Now, question is, does Araujo come into the pit lane? I would imagine so. No, he hasn't. Now, that's an interesting choice. We've seen that if cars pit later, then, you know, it's not a great strategy, let's put it that way, in the nicest way possible. Sousa is coming into the pit lane, but he's not quite part of this battle for the net lead. A good run for Sousa on his set of tyres on the mediums. He's going to probably be pitting for a set of hards on board with Silent. He's getting ahead of Markey. So again, this is for the lead. They're 3 abreast, heading down into turn 1. They're still side by side. That is Giggs and Silent resuming their battle from before. And Silent back ahead of Giggs. Again, Giggs taking the bridesmaid's position in this one, as they're going to run off into the sunlight to try and chase after Araujo, see if they can get ahead of the man in red. And Zetany's fallen off this battle a little bit as well. Luke Bailey's had to come into the pit lane. So that, oh no, I'm not sure why he's come onto the mediums again. Is he hoping for another safety car so that he can clamber up the field? Possibly, although that could just be, you know, some damage, and that's his race done. I doubt he's going to be able to climb enough positions to make it work, as here we go. This is the moment that counts. Araujo comes into the pit lane. Markey's got a 3-second time penalty for track limits. He was in that battle for the lead. As we go on board with Araujo off the mediums onto the softs. Now, this is a big old gamble. 11 laps on a set of soft tyres. Neffel takes the lead with 11 to go. Silent fastest, 21.440, and Araujo's going to see 1, 2, at least 2, 3 cars, even 4 possibly with his teammate. He's going to be battling with his teammate on pit exit, and a brilliant braking move. Contact between the teammates. They are fighting for the championship. As a great exit out of the first chicane. Could he get ahead of his teammate right on pit exit? No, he can't. He has to stay behind through Curva Grande, but can he go into the Della Roggia? Again, he lifts off. They play nice for now, but I think give it a 4 or 5 rounds time, I don't think that'll be the case anymore. Silent at the moment has the net lead. We're still waiting for Neffel to come into the pit lane. But my word, what a choice by Araujo. Great run out the second left as well. He's going to go to the right side. That's not where you want to defend. Attack going into Ascari. And that's not where he was able to make the move. Not a good exit. Not quite good enough. He's going to go to the right-hand side here, though. This is where you want to attack. On the right-hand side, you're going to get ahead. Can he stay ahead? Does his teammate give it up? Yes, he does. Again, Ferrari's playing nice for the time being, but I would assume give it a couple of rounds, give it a couple more races when the championship is 1 or 2 races away, and we could be seeing anything. Giggs dropping 1, Giggs dropping 2, could it be dropping 3? Not quite close enough is Zetany. As they head into turn 1, oh, I thought he was going to go for it on Markey. Was Araujo, but he's going to get better exit out of the first chicane, and there we go. He's going to blast past on the set of new softs. And he's got the lead for now. 1.5 seconds ahead is Silent. So can he catch the man in blue today? There he is going into Della Roggia, and he's already closed up by 10.5 since overtaking him. So it seems possibly to be an inevitability. More of an if, not if but when sort of scenario. However, this could still be coming out to be quite an interesting race. Just over 9 to go here in this race. The gap is less than a second between second and third. Between third and fourth, it's over a second now as Giggsy makes a move on Markey, with Zetany also in 6th place. Again, should the checkered flag go now, we could be seeing a massive swing in the championship. We're looking at, you know, 3rd to 6th. That's 18 to 8. So that's a 10-point swing, a 12-point gap. Should the checkered flag fall now for Araujo? Remember, the gap was 2 points going in to this event. Zettini ahead of Marquis. That's for 5th place in the race for the moment. Could he get ahead of Giggsy as well? Not quite able to do so. Stays in 5th place. A very good run for Zettini. Marquis dropping a little bit like a stone, but here comes Araujo on silent, already caught up with him in the space of a lap. Neffel is just going to be there. He's going to be much more of a distraction than anything. Ferrari-powered car, you think possibly he might give up his spot. However, again, this is equal performance. I doubt that's going to be the case. Into the second Lesnar. This is just going to allow Giggsy to close up a little bit, but there goes Silent. Can Araujo force his way in? No, he's boxed in. He can't really do anything much. They're 3 abreast going into Ascari. Who's going to take the lead? It's going to be Silent against Araujo. Oh, he's got the inside line. He's managed to make that work. A brilliant run there for Araujo. Wow! Araujo first, Silent second, Neffel third. You think Neffel's going to come into the pit lane at some point soon, although he has already pitted, so he doesn't really need to. But he is being more of a roadblock than anything. On board with Zettini. Can he close up on Neffel ahead of him? 8 to go here at Monza. Showing to be a cracker of a race, proving why the Italian Grand Prix needs to be on track. With the recent renewal of the Japanese Grand Prix, I think 29, I believe. So it's a good run there for Suzuka. Can't wait to see them back much earlier than normal this year into 4 and 5. This is just going to open up the gap between 3rd and 2nd place. Neffel is proving to be a very good roadblock, and here they are into the second Lesmo. He thought about it, but not quite enough distance for the Ferrari. Looking on with Giggsy. There goes Zettini to the right hand side. He's going to make the move. Nicely done on Neffel, and here goes Giggs as well. He's made the move. Now it's just Marquis, and then Neffel's got 6th place. That's a spin there for Zettini. He's lost quite a few positions there. They're side by side and further ahead, Marquis and Giggs. Oh my word. Ooh, that's Giggs as well. 2 spins in the space of 3 corners. Goodness me. What's going to be happening now? Giggs has lost more than what Zettini had. Zettini dropped to 5th. Giggs dropped to 8th place. So their fight for the podium is now essentially done and dusted. And at the moment, Neffel's back on the podium as well. I imagine not for long, though, because, again, Marquis is right there to try and take the position. Can Silent get ahead of Araujo into De La Roggia, back end stepping out slightly there for the Williams, but no move there. 3.5 seconds is the gap between 2nd and 3rd. Half second is the gap between 3rd and 4th. Not sure why Rocketman left the game, left the race. He has retired, unfortunate run there for the Haas as Marquis goes ahead of the Alfa Romeo. That's nicely done through into Ascari, so Marquis does seem, at least for now, to be set on a 3rd place finish, which isn't too bad. Jay Pinto's got a 3-second time penalty for track limits. However, I've completely forgotten Marquis has got a 3-second time penalty for the exact same reason as track limits. But here we go. Silent, is he going to go to the left, to the right? Oh, he's going to go to the right to try and attack around the outside, but again, a little too early braking for that one to make that move stick. Problems on exit for Araujo. He's going to go wide and then cut back in. That's exactly what he does. Does Silent get close? No, not quite. Not close enough. 22 of 27, Araujo, Silent, Marquis, Neffel and Zetany is your top 5. Little Mo in 6th, Kuto in 7th, Sousa 8th, Giggs 9th after a spin about a lap and a half ago through Curva Alboreto / Parabolica. Pinto 10th rounds out the points paying positions as we're enthralled in this battle for the lead at this moment in time. It's been going on pretty much all race. Used to be 6 cars early on, but Marquis, Zetany, Giggs and Luke Bailey have dropped off for a various variety of reasons, and so now it is just 2, and Neffel has crashed out, and that is a safety car. So a safety car has been called in the late stages of this race, and now crucially, who's going to pit for a brand new set of tyres? We'll look at the tyre selections now. Sousa's got a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. Lots of cars are coming in now. So there's going to be a lot of position changes, so bear with us as that happens. We could have, let's assume 24 and 25 are under safety car. We could be seeing a 2-lap dash to the finish. I cannot wait. This race is gonna finish on a hell of a climax. 5 to go here at Monza, and this race is nowhere near being finished. God, I've got to start thinking about driver of the day now. Good grief. I'm not sure, I'll be honest. It'll come out of one of these two, I think. Out of these, the top 2, whoever finishes higher gets my driver of the day, because it's going to be very, very close. Crucially, Zetany, and a name I haven't mentioned for quite a while, Little Mo. He's going to get himself involved in this battle for the lead as well. We've seen Mo pull off some stellar moves in the past couple of races. As new softs on for Marquis, I assume new softs on for Araujo, for Silent even. That's exactly what happens. Gap is still tiny. You can see how close they are through the pit lane. Everybody's coming onto a brand new set of softs. 2-lap mad dash to the finish. I cannot wait to see what happens. I'll be here with you all. Hopefully my voice does not die. Sousa's got a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane again. Why is he coming into the pit lane once again? That's an unusual decision, because he's going to finish at the bottom. He was at least possible to pick up some points. Oh, penalty. That's still not a good idea. I'm not too sure. I'll leave that to the driver to consider whether that was a good strategy decision or not. There's a reason why I don't race. My pace is terrible, and my strategic decisions are questionable at best. Through turn 7, they go 4 to go with the Mercedes safety car just riding around on a track. Round 5 here at Monza. Next week is Baku and halfway and sprint race. Yes, double helping of racing, which, if this is anything to go by, is going to be very, very good. About 35-ish laps split over 2 different races around Baku, and that's bound to be a pretty interesting affair. We've seen how we've seen both in real life and in certain other gaming events how good Baku can be in terms of the chaos parallel, as I call it. How crazy it can be. So, you know, it can be a very good race, but it can also be just a standard race. So, you know, I think it could be a very interesting race. Hopefully I'll be here for Tier 1, but we'll see what's happening with that. 25 and 27, 3 to go. Still under safety car conditions. It'll pit this lap or next lap, which means we'll have at least one lap of green flag conditions, one or possibly even two runs down the front stretch. And also worth reminding, no DRS for the rest of the race, because it is 2 laps after a safety car restart that DRS is enabled. And DRS isn't going to be enabled because there's going to be only 2 green flag laps after this safety car comes in. We'll find out shortly if it's coming into the pits. In terms of predictions, I don't think I can predict anything. Anything could happen. Absolutely anything. I mean, absolutely anything could happen. I've seen all sorts happen with late safety cars. We all know what's happened with late safety cars and controversies and all that sort of stuff. Safety car has confirmed to be coming in this lap, so we're going to have 2 runs down the front stretch. And now this is going to be very interesting. Everybody on brand spanking new soft tyres. Sousa has cleared his penalties, but he's going to be very, very far back, not close enough to make any moves on board with the Williams. Giuseppe Convero's got a penalty, that's 5 seconds for a collision with FFR Harry. Whoa! That was dodgy. But there goes Araujo. He's going to exit quite early, a little bit earlier than he did the last time on the first one. And here we go, the battle here for 3rd place on board with Zettini. And remember, past the start-finish line, you can do essentially whatever. Here he goes. He's going to go to the right to attack. Careful from Mo in the background. Does Zettini go for it on Marquis? No. Ooh, he's going to consider it. Ooh, very tight, very close. Pinto ahead of Giggsy. They're going battling for 7th place. Let's come further back. They are side by side. And that is Molinho making a move on both of them as well. Giggsy going ghosted and jump on board with the McLaren as they're going side by side. This is for a lower points paying position, so it's not worth much, but points are points. As Giggsy's going to try and hang around the outside of the Della Roger with a bit of contact. He tried to make it work but could not do that. FFR Harry on the cusp of points, but can't make that work. So let's jump back to the front of the field. Silent and Araujo 1.2 seconds ahead of Marquis as they're heading up to the Ascari for the penultimate time in this event. Fantastic saying come on Marquis. PGS Tier 2 has finished, so welcome everybody as these guys are coming up to the final lap of the race on board with Silent. Who's going to take the lead starting this final lap? This is going to be crucial. There's not really many overtaking spots after this. Silent's got the speed. He's going to go to the right. Araujo forces him even further to the right side. He moves to the left to give him the space. But then down into turn 1. What's going to happen here? There's a bit of contact. We go back on board with the Williams. They're still side by side on exit of the first chicane. As they're going to go into here. Corner cutting for FFR Harry. He's picked up 15 seconds for that. Good grief. As they're still side by side going down into the Della Roger chicane. They're going 2 abreast into here. That's difficult to do. They're both on the grass. On board with Zettini. Can he get ahead? He got ahead of his teammate. His teammates drop back. So Zettini's going to take lead in the championship. But Silent is possibly, at least at the moment, going to take the win as things stand. On board with Marquis. He's in 3rd place. As they're going to head down the under the bridge for the final time. But I don't think anybody's quite close enough for the move. Remember, no DRS at this moment. But what a final couple of laps we have had. If anybody's just joined us from PGS Tier 2, rewatch this race. It's a bloody good one. As these guys are heading into the Parabolica final time in this race, or Curva Alboreto, whatever you want to call it. This man's been in a class of 2. The second man is in 5th place, but the first man is on pole position. And he's won the race. Well, he started in 2nd, but he's won the race. Zettini in 2nd place. Araujo does pick up a podium position, mainly due to a couple of penalties from Molinho and Marquis. So crucial points saved there for Araujo in that championship battle. But I do believe the points gap between Zettini and Araujo is being swung at the moment in favour of Zettini by a singular point. I think if this is going to prove anything, this championship battle is going to be tight as hell throughout the whole season. And I cannot wait to see what happens next. Actually, who's got fastest lap as well? Silence. As Silent, after a stellar start, is going to pick up the win here at Monza. Thank you very much for joining us. It's been a brilliant race, and we'll hopefully see you again next week. Next week again is the halfway point in the season. Round 6 is at Baku. And it is going to be a sprint race, I believe, 8 laps and then 26 laps around the Baku City circuit. That's going to be very good to watch. But in the meantime, I've been Casper. Glad to have you all along. We'll see you all next time. Bye-bye.